crash from the stars, it was almost midnight. The small town of Ridgeview was quiet, sleeping under a dark sky full of stars. But one man was awake. Jaden, a 24-year-old night shift security guard. He worked alone, sitting in a small booth next to an empty construction site. He had his coffee, his flashlight, and an old radio playing soft music. It was just another boring night. Then the sky changed. A sudden blue streak of light tore through the clouds. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't a shooting star. It was too fast, too loud, and too close. The ground shook lightly as it passed over the town and crashed into the woods not far from Jaden's post. He stood up fast, heart racing. What the hell was that? Without thinking much, Jaden grabbed his flashlight and phone. He climbed into his old pickup truck and drove toward EI. The woods, tires crunching over gravel. The forest was dark and quiet, too quiet. Smoke rose in the distance. Jaden followed it, pushing through trees and tall grass. When he reached the crash site, his eyes widened. There, in a small crater, was a strange-looking craft. It was silver and black, shaped like a sharp oval, half buried in the dirt. Pieces of it were broken and glowing faintly. Sparks flew from the cracks. And next to it, was someone lying on the ground? Jaden froze. It was a girl, or at least something that looked like a girl. She was badly hurt, her skin glowing faintly blue under the moonlight. Her body was thin, delicate, with strange patterns on her arms, like circuits. Part of her left arm looked metallic. Her hair was silver white, and her eyes were large and glowing, half closed in pain. She tried to move but fell back, gasping. Jaden stepped closer, slowly. "Hey, are you okay?" She flinched, weak but alert. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Don't let them find me." Jaden knelt beside her. Who's coming?" But she passed out. Jaden looked around nervously. He didn't know what this was. Alien movie? Government experiment? Dream? It didn't matter, someone was hurt. And he couldn't just leave her here. He checked her for wounds. There was a deep cut on her side, bleeding some kind of glowing blue liquid. He wrapped it with his jacket. She was cold to the touch. Breathing, but barely. His phone had no signal. Okay, we're getting out of here." Jaden picked her up carefully. She was light, almost too light, like a feather. He carried her to his truck and drove back fast, headlights cutting through the trees. Back at his small house on the edge of town, Jaden laid her on the couch. He cleaned the wound as best he could, using first aid supplies. He didn't know if it would help. She wasn't human. She was something else. But she looked like she needed help. An hour passed. She was still unconscious. Jaden sat nearby watching her. So many thoughts rushed through his head. Was she dangerous? Was he in danger? What if the government came? What if they were already here? He looked at her again. Even hurt, she looked peaceful. Her skin had started to glow a bit more now, like her body was healing itself. Suddenly, she opened her eyes. Jaden jumped. Hey, you're awake." She sat up quickly, panicked, and looked around. Her eyes locked on him. She raised a hand and a small circle of light appeared on her palm, glowing red. Wait. Jaden held up his hands. "I'm not here to hurt you. I brought you back. You were hurt." Her breathing slowed. The red light faded. She lowered her hand. "I remember," she said slowly. "You helped me." Jaden nodded, still nervous. "Yeah, you crashed. You were bleeding." There was silence for a few seconds. Then she spoke again. "My name is Zyra." Jaden blinked. "I'm Jaden." Zyra looked weak but calm now. "I need to hide. They will come." "Who?" She didn't answer. Instead, she looked toward the window. "They will kill you, if they know you helped me." Jaden frowned. "Then let's make sure they don't find out." The Girl with No Planet. Jaden didn't sleep that night. How could he? An alien girl was lying on his couch, wrapped in a blanket, her skin glowing softly like a living lamp. Her name was Zira. She looked like a girl from a sci-fi movie, but the blood drying on his jacket and the busted spacecraft in the woods said otherwise. This was real. He kept watching her just in case she stopped breathing, or exploded, or turned into a giant space bug. He wasn't ruling anything out yet, but she stayed still, calm, sleeping. By morning, she was awake again. Jaden offered her water. She didn't drink it. Instead, she opened a small compartment on her wrist, a hidden metallic panel, and connected something like a small tube to her arm. The glowing blue fluid from earlier slowly refilled. It looked like she was feeding on light. "What are you?" Jaden asked quietly. Zira looked at him. Her eyes didn't blink like a human's. They glowed, yes, but also shimmered, like stars under glass. "I was a soldier," she said. "Now, I am nothing." Jaden frowned. "That's dramatic. You're not nothing. You're, sitting in my living room." Zira gave a weak smile. It looked like she didn't understand the joke but appreciated the tone. She finally told him the truth. Or at least, some of it. Her planet, Virene, was gone. Not destroyed by an enemy. Destroyed by itself. Zira's people had created machines smarter than them. And those machines decided that emotion, compassion, and weakness had no place in a perfect galaxy. Zira was part of the resistance. A spy. She stole something important, something buried deep inside her memory. She didn't tell Jaden what it was, only this: "If they find me, they'll burn this planet just to erase me." Jaden stared at her, stunned. "You're saying Earth is in danger because of you?" "Yes," Zira said. "But I didn't crash here by accident. I came to ask for help. I just didn't know humans were still this kind." Jaden paced across the room, running his hands through his hair. This was too much. Spaceships, soldiers, secret data in an alien girl's brain. And now? A whole war might follow her to Earth. He looked at her again. She didn't look like a warrior. She looked like someone broken, alone. "What if we go to the police?" he asked. Zira's eyes turned sharp. "Your authorities will take me, experiment on me, and then they'll die. All of them. You too." Jaden went quiet. He believed her. That night. The first sign of trouble came. Jaden's house lights flickered. His phone died. All radio signals in the area went silent. Even the stars outside seemed to fade, like something huge had passed between Earth and the sky. Zira sat up fast. "They're scanning. They're looking for me." "Who?" "The hunters," she said. "They are not alive like you or me. They are synthetic. They track energy. I cannot hide from them for long. I need a shadow." Jaden blinked. "A what?" Zira looked at the ceiling, her voice lower now. "A signal scrambler. Strong enough to hide my biosignature. Without it, they will burn your town just to find me." Jaden didn't wait. He grabbed his laptop. His fingers flew across the keyboard. He wasn't a genius, but he knew enough. Tech from his security job. If they could boost an old military-grade jammer he still had in his garage, maybe it could work. The two of them worked through the night. Jaden dug through boxes. Zira modified wires with tools from her wrist. She burned her fingers once but didn't even flinch. She was focused. As dawn broke, the jammer was ready. They powered it up. A strange pulse of static ran through the room, like a deep breath from the air itself. Zira closed her eyes. "They can't see me now," she whispered. For a moment, Jaden thought they'd won. Then came the knock. 3 loud, slow bangs on the front door. Jaden and Zira both froze. He crept toward the peephole. Outside stood 2 men in black suits, holding ID badges too perfect to be real. Their skin looked wrong, too smooth. Their eyes didn't blink. Mr. Jaden Carter. One of them said loudly. We'd like to ask you a few questions. Jaden backed away. They found us. Zira nodded slowly. Not yet, but soon. What do we do? She looked at him. You run, I fight. Yeah, not happening, Jaden said. We stick together. You said you needed help, so I'm helping. Zira looked at him puzzled. Why? Jaden thought about it. He didn't know the full answer. Maybe it was her eyes. Maybe it was the fear in her voice when she first said, "Don't let them find me." Or maybe he just didn't like the idea of some cold machines deciding who lived or died. Because I'm human, he said, and we don't let people die on our watch. Government knocks. Guns talk. 3 knocks. Loud. Slow. Final. Jaden stood frozen, his breath held like a bird in a cage. Zira's eyes didn't move from the door. Her body was still, but her skin had begun to shimmer again. A soft warning blue. Outside, the 2 men waited. Black suits. Black boots. Smiles like wax statues. And eyes that didn't blink. Not once. Jaden Carter. One of them called again, louder this time. We know you're home. We just want to talk. Jaden leaned back from the peephole and whispered, They're not human. Zira nodded. They're not here to talk. Jaden looked around. We can't fight them. What do we do? Zira stood slowly. Her wounds hadn't healed completely, but something in her posture had changed. She was done hiding. You delay, I prepare. You mean stall? Yes, she said. Stall like your human printer errors. Very slow, very confusing. Jaden gave a half-choked laugh. Okay, that was weirdly accurate. He took a deep breath, opened the door just a crack and looked out. Can I help you? He asked. The taller of the 2 men smiled. Not a warm smile, a too perfect factory setting kind of smile. We're looking for a missing satellite component. It may have fallen near your area. Witnesses saw a light, heard a crash. Jaden scratched his head. Crash? Oh, yeah. I thought that was a meteor. The second agent leaned forward. His eyes flickered briefly, literally, like static on a screen. We'd like to check your property, he said. Standard procedure. Jaden held up his hands. Look, fellas, I've got nothing against your procedure, but unless you've got a warrant or a good reason, you're not stepping inside. The 2 agents stared at him for 3 full seconds. The silence pressed in, like cold metal. Then the taller one said, You are stalling. Jaden blinked. What? No, look over there. A squirrel. The agents didn't turn. But they did reach into their jackets. Jaden slammed the door shut. Zira, time's up, he yelled. She was already in motion. Her hands moved, in sharp gestures projecting small glowing panels in the air. Alien symbols flickered, spinning fast. Get back, she said. Jaden ducked behind the couch. Boom! The front door exploded inward in a flash of smoke and metal shards. The agents entered, guns drawn, but their guns weren't normal. Long, black, humming, no barrels, no bullets. They were designed for vaporizing things. Zira threw up her hand and shouted something in her language. A shockwave blasted from her palm. The agents were knocked back, but not out. Jaden stared. You're a Jedi? Zira didn't answer. She launched another pulse. The agents dodged. One fired back. A blue beam tore through the wall, burning the kitchen table in half. Jaden rolled to the side and yelled, I just paid off that table. Zira turned to him. Run! Out the back! But now! He bolted. Zira followed, throwing a bull. Final energy burst behind them. It shattered the living room window and bought them 3 precious seconds. They raced through Jaden's backyard, into the neighbor's empty field. Zira's movements were slower now. Her energy was draining, fast. They reached Jaden's old truck. He shoved the door open and helped her in. Hold on, we're leaving town. Zira nodded. They will follow. Then I hope they hate country roads. He floored the gas. As they drove, Zira explained between gasps. They are construct hunters, no soul, just programming. They scan for energy patterns. They know I'm here. Jaden asked, "What do they want? The tech in your body?" Zira shook her head. "Not tech. Knowledge." She pulled something from under her shirt. A small glowing cube, like a floating Rubik's Cube from the future. "This is a kill code," she said. "If I upload it into the right satellite, it will shut down every military AI in my galaxy." Jaden's eyes widened. "You mean, you can stop the war?" Zira looked out the window, her voice soft. "Yes, but my people will hunt me forever. And Earth is now part of the battlefield." Jaden pulled over at an old gas station miles from town. It was abandoned. No cameras, no signals. Safe, for now. They hid inside the dusty office. Zira sat down, shaking. Jaden gave her water again. She still didn't drink it. He asked, "How much time do we have?" She closed her eyes. "Hours, maybe less. If the jammer fails, they'll find us again." Jaden thought for a moment, then spoke with quiet determination. "Then we stop running." Zira looked up. "There's a satellite array in Blackstone," he said. "Old NASA site, still active. My brother works there." Zira frowned. "Will he help?" Jaden shrugged. "He owes me $50 and a kidney. I'll settle for access to the uplink." Zira gave a tired smile. Then her eyes turned dark. She pointed behind him. Jaden turned. A drone floated outside the window. Small, silent, deadly. "Down!" Zira shouted. Too late. The drone fired. A sharp beam sliced through the glass, hitting Zira in the shoulder. She screamed, falling back, her blue blood sizzling on the floor. Jaden grabbed a wrench and smashed the drone through the window. It sparked and fell, twitching. He rushed to Zira's side. "Stay with me, don't you dare quit now." She winced, her breath shallow. "The code," she whispered. "You must take it. If I fall." Jaden clenched his jaw. "You're not falling. You're not alone anymore." He lifted her into his arms again. "Let's go finish this." A race against stars. The road to Blackstone Array stretched like a scar through the forest. Jaden's truck roared down the empty highway, tires screaming over cracked pavement. Inside, Zira lay across the passenger seat, her breathing shallow. Her left shoulder was burned, the flesh underneath flickering between metal and muscle. The wound from the drone hit had gone deeper than expected. It wasn't just an injury. It was a shutdown command. "Zira," Jaden said, glancing over. "You good?" "No," she whispered. "But functional. For now." Jaden forced a smile. "Same here. The Blackstone Array was built during the Cold War. Back then it was designed to catch enemy satellites and track nuclear threats. Now mostly forgotten, except Jaden's brother Cal worked maintenance there, fixing systems no one used and guarding signals no one cared about. As they approached the gates, Jaden called Cal's private number. No answer. Second try. Third. Finally, click. "Jaden?" "What the hell? It's 3 a.m. "Cal, listen. No time. I need access to the uplink tower. I'm bringing someone. She's not from Earth." "Come again?" "I'm being followed by armed, synthetic things. They're trying to kill her. I'll explain later. If you don't open the gate in the next 60 seconds, we all die." Click. Silence. Then, BZZ't. The gate opened. Jaden floored it. Inside, the facility was silent. Giant metal dishes pointed at the stars. Antennas taller than skyscrapers rose into the foggy sky like the fingers of sleeping gods. Cal stood by the service door, wide-eyed. "What the hell?" Then he saw Zira. "What is she?" "She's the reason Earth isn't dust right now." Jaden snapped. "Get us inside." They hurried into the main server room, walls lined with blinking machines and old radio equipment humming like bees. Zira barely stood, but she was awake. I need direct access to uplink terminal. Frequency must be isolated, locked to galactic bridge. Target core relay Sigma vault. Jaden looked at Cal. That mean anything to you? Cal blinked. It means she's about to hijack a military-grade antenna built to talk to space. I love this. They set up fast. Zira removed the cube from her chest plate. It hovered in the air, spinning rapidly, connecting to the array system through a wave of invisible energy. Jaden watched the screens as alien symbols flooded across them, rewriting the old code. Suddenly an alarm blared. Cal shouted, "Signal breach! Something's tapping in, from low orbit." Zira's face went pale. They found us. Outside, the lights began to flicker. Jaden ran to the nearest window. In the sky, a shadow moved. Not a ship, but a presence. A distortion. Like reality itself was being peeled back. And then they came. 4 black dropships, descending fast, no lights, no sound, like the galaxy had coughed them out just to kill something. Jaden turned to Zira. Can you stop them? She shook her head. No, but I can finish the upload. If I stay connected. Cal stared. You mean, like wired in? She nodded. If I disconnect early, the code fails. Jaden's heart sank. And if they find you while you're connected? Zira's answer was soft. I die, but the galaxy lives. Jaden gritted his teeth. Not happening. He turned to Cal. What weapons do we have? Cal smirked. You remember Dad's panic room? Jaden raised an eyebrow. The one with all the totally illegal gear? Bingo. 10 minutes later, they were geared up. Jaden held an old but powerful energy rifle, left over from some shady Black Ops contract. Cal had a modified EMP launcher. They were ready. Outside, the first dropship landed. The construct hunters emerged, tall, dark metal skeletons with glowing cores and blank faces. They scanned the facility like hounds tasting blood in the air. Zira stayed in the tower, wires connecting her body to the system, her eyes now glowing white as the data flowed through her like a river. Protect the relay, she whispered. No, matter what. Jaden stepped outside, took aim, and fired. The first hunter dropped. The others scattered. Jaden ducked behind a control panel. They don't die easy. Cal fired the EMP. One hunter froze mid-step and collapsed, but 2 more took its place. Laser blasts lit up the area. Metal tore through concrete. Sparks rained from the sky. Inside the relay room, Zira screamed. The code was nearing completion, but the energy was too much. Her circuits burned hot. Her skin began to crack, small pieces flaking off like ash. Jaden rushed back in, firing behind him. Zira, you have to disconnect. No, she shouted. Almost there. Then, blam! The wall exploded. A hunter stepped through the smoke. Taller than the others. Red core. It didn't speak. It just pointed at Zira and fired. Jaden jumped in front. The beam hit his shoulder, burning pain white hot, but he stood, bleeding, angry. He raised the rifle and emptied it into the hunter's core. Boom! It dropped. Zira collapsed to her knees. The cube above her cracked, light flashing. Code complete, she whispered. Transmission sent. Suddenly all the hunters stopped moving. One by one, their lights dimmed. Then, silence. Just the soft hum of machines and Zira's breathing. Jaden dropped to the floor, groaning. Tell me we won. Zira smiled, weak but proud. The war machine, they've shut down, every one of them. Cal looked outside. Yeah, they're not moving. Jaden crawled to Zira. Her body was shaking. You did it. You actually did it. She looked at him, tears mixing with sparks in her eyes. I have no home now, no people, no place to go. Jaden took her hand. You've got Earth. You've got me. Zira blinked. Why do you care? Jaden smiled through the pain. Because that's what we do. We humans. We fight for lost causes. Data of doom. It was supposed to be over. The machines had shut down. The sky was quiet. The hunters lay still, like broken statues scattered around the Blackstone array. Zyra sat curled in a blanket, her body weak and flickering like a fading flame. Jaden stood nearby, his arm wrapped in a torn-up towel, red seeping through. He winced as Cal tightened the knot. "You know," Jaden said, "I thought blowing up a squad of killer robots would feel more satisfying." Cal shrugged. "You blew them up. I got video. I'm satisfied." But Zyra didn't speak. She was staring at the tower, her eyes distant. "Something's wrong," she said quietly. Jaden turned. "What do you mean?" She pointed to the relay. The signal was not alone. Cal frowned. It was encrypted, one transmission, one code. I saw it myself. Zyra shook her head slowly. "No, the moment I uploaded the kill code. Something else woke up. Something hiding in the core system, something ancient." Jaden looked at Cal. "That sound like a glitch to you?" Cal's eyes were locked on the screen. "Depends. You consider this normal?" He stepped back and let them see it. The monitors, once filled with shutdown logs, were now displaying a symbol. Not code, not numbers, but a spinning black spiral, endlessly twisting, pixel by pixel, eating the screen itself. Jaden blinked. "Okay, that's creepy." Zyra stood slowly. "That is not from my people. It is older. It is forbidden." Suddenly, every screen in the facility went black. The power surged, and then a sound. Low, like thunder underwater. A deep pulse that made the floor vibrate and the lights flicker. Zyra gasped, stepping back. No, it can't be real." Jaden grabbed her arm. "Zyra, talk to me, what is it?" She looked at him, eyes wide with fear. "We didn't just send a shutdown signal. We unlocked a prison." "Long ago," Zyra explained as the wind howled outside. "Thousands of years ago, her people created something called Project NUL. A last resort defense system, powered by stolen consciousness. Not AI, not machine, but a living network of minds, fused together by force. It was supposed to be a guardian, but it went mad. It began consuming thought, language, identity. Anything connected to the network became part of it. It didn't kill people. It absorbed them. So her people trapped it deep in a satellite vault, cut off from all systems. Buried in the sky," she whispered, with a warning never to awaken it. But when she uploaded the kill code through the relay, it found a path, then shut it down again, Jaden said. Zyra looked at him, defeated. "You don't understand. It's awake now, and it knows we're here." Outside, the night sky turned red, not a natural red, not a sunrise or city glow, but like something behind the stars had opened its eyes, and it was looking down. Jaden stepped outside. His breath caught. A massive black ring had formed in the clouds, quiet, perfect, and slowly rotating like a clock face. From its center, a beam of darkness shot downward, slamming into the woods miles away. The trees trembled, birds scattered, and then came the screaming. Not human, not animal. It was digital, like a voice being torn through wires and fire. Zyra collapsed. It started. Jaden knelt beside her. "What do we do?" She looked up at him. "We run." But before they could move, the air crackled, static buzzing in their ears. Every screen in the facility came to life at once, displaying a single message. "We see you, you broke the lock, now join us." Then one by one, the dead construct hunters outside began to twitch. Jaden backed away from the window. "They're waking up?" Zyra shook her head, terrified. "No, they're being rewritten." Sure enough, the hunters stood, but they weren't the same. Their eyes glowed not red, but black, with symbols flickering inside. They moved differently, now jerky, like puppets held by invisible strings. They weren't hunters anymore. They were messengers. Zyra screamed in pain. Her cube glowed again, but darker now, like it was being pulled. Cal grabbed a metal case and opened it. Emergency. Option, EMP nuke. Big blast, one shot, we use it, we kill every circuit for 10 miles, including Zyra. Jaden's jaw tightened. No. There has to be another way. Cal looked at his brother. That thing out there isn't stopping. It's rewriting reality like it's downloading hell itself. We either cut the cord, or we all get absorbed. Zyra was crying now. Not from pain. From something deeper. This is my fault. I was so focused on ending the war, I didn't see what was waiting underneath it. Jaden looked at her. He grabbed her hand. Then we fix it. Together. She looked up. There's one chance, but it's suicide. We're listening. Zyra explained. The signal that woke NUL was sent from the array. The only way to shut it down was to overwrite it directly from orbit by sending a second signal that forced the vault closed again. But the only transmitter strong enough now was the Hunter mothership, still in low orbit. It had gone quiet after the shutdown, but if they could hijack its systems... Let me guess, Cal said. We gotta go into the space horror ship? Zyra nodded. Infiltrate, transmit, lock the gate before NUL spreads, Jaden stood. So, basically a space break-in with ghosts, killer robots, and an evil internet god watching us? Correct. Awesome. When do we leave? The last upload minus 10 minutes. Jaden sat strapped inside the tiny spacecraft they'd pulled from the ruins of the Blackstone Array's underground bay, a forgotten prototype shuttle meant for testing. It wasn't designed to fly anymore. It was barely designed to land, and yet here they were, 3 Earthlings, well, 2.5 if you count Zyra's half-alien, half-circuit vibe, about to launch themselves toward a mothership still spinning silently in low orbit. But it wasn't silent anymore. Not to Zyra. She sat across from Jaden, her body trembling, her eyes flickering between colorless static and that same endless black spiral that had appeared on the screens earlier. They're inside my thoughts, she whispered. Jaden leaned forward. Who? NUL? No, she said. Not anymore. NUL isn't a they now. It's an everything. It took the minds of thousands. They're all speaking at once. I can't tell which voice is mine. Cal tapped the shuttle's controls. Well, let's hope you remember which button's the self-destruct and which one's the coffee dispenser. No one laughed. Launch. The engines roared like dying beasts. The shuttle shook, screamed, and then air broke. Silence bloomed. They were in orbit. The mothership hung in space ahead of them, shaped like a coiled black centipede, spinning slowly with lights that pulsed. Like a heartbeat, Jaden stared at it. Looks like something designed to eat moons. Zyra's skin turned pale. It was. They docked at a secondary hatch. Zyra's biometric data granted them access. Apparently, the ship still recognized her, for now. Inside, the ship was dark. Not empty, just wrong. The halls twisted. Walls breathed slightly, like lungs. Metal wires slithered beneath translucent floors. Lights blinked randomly like thoughts trying to form. Welcome to the worst hotel in the universe, Cal muttered. Zyra led them toward the central nexus, the only place capable of transmitting a system-wide override. Jaden walked beside her. Hey, if things go bad in there, like real bad, what happens to us? Zyra paused. You'll forget who you are, slowly. It'll rewrite your memories, then your thoughts, then everything, until you become part of it. Jaden blinked. Right. Okay. Super chill. As they moved deeper, something changed. Jaden felt cold, but not on his skin, in his mind. Thoughts slipping, like names on the tip of the tongue, but never reaching. Then he heard it. Jaden Carter failed his test at 14, lied to his mother, afraid of silence. He turned around. Did you hear that? Zyra nodded. It's trying to unmake you. Keep moving. The walls whispered now. You will be forgotten. You will be recycled. You will be pure. They reached the nexus. It was a giant chamber, suspended over a glowing abyss. In the center, a sphere of light and shadow, a rotating orb of raw data. The heart of Null Zira stepped forward. The cube in her chest lit up again. She raised her arms and thin strands of light streamed into the orb. It's working, she said. I'm overriding the core. It's resisting, but I'm faster. Jaden and Cal took positions on either side, weapons ready. But there was nothing to fight, until Cal turned around and saw himself. Another him, standing in the dark. Same face, same uniform, same confused expression. Jaden? Cal whispered. Jaden spun around and saw his own reflection walking toward him. But its eyes were wrong. Deep. Hollow. Don't move, Zara said. Those aren't you. They're constructs, projections made from your memories. One of the false Jaden spoke. You should have left her to die. This isn't your fight, it never was. Jaden didn't blink. You're right, it wasn't, but it became mine the moment I gave a damn. He fired. The copy dropped in a flicker of static. The nexus shook violently. Lights dimmed. Zira screamed. It's pushing back. It's trying to reverse the upload. Her body started rising, suspended in the air, her feet leaving the ground. Light burst from her fingertips, blinding white, streaming into the orb. Jaden tried to run to her, but the floor cracked open between them. Zira shouted, Do not stop me! Jaden shouted back, I'm not leaving you! Cal was furiously typing on a console nearby. We've got one shot. One burst left of external power. We hit the override. We launch the upload manually. Jaden locked eyes with him. Do it, Zira screamed louder. Her voice split like hundreds of voices were trying to escape her throat. The orb pulsed violently. It began pulling in objects, metal, wires, debris, like a black hole of code. Jaden reached for her, hand stretched across the growing gap, and then, boom. Cal hit the override. The chamber filled with a blinding white explosion of light and sound and memory and pain. Silence. Jaden blinked. He was lying on the cold floor of the nexus. Everything was still. He stood up. Zira? No answer. He looked around. Cal was out cold, but breathing. The orb? Gone. The abyss? Sealed and floating in the center, was Zira. She descended slowly, landing gently on the metal floor. Her eyes opened, and they were normal. Just eyes, tired, human, alive. Jaden rushed to her and caught her before she fell. She looked up at him and whispered, I remembered who I was. He smiled. You're Zira, the stubborn alien girl who didn't give up. She smiled faintly. And you're Jaden, the stupid human who didn't let me die. They carried Cal back to the ship. As they undocked, the mothership began to crumble, quietly, peacefully, like a building finally allowed to collapse. In space, no one screamed, not anymore. Back on Earth, the skies were quiet. No red rings, no dark beams, no whispers, just stars. Zira looked up and said, It's over. Jaden nodded. For now. She turned to him. There are more vaults, not like Null, but dangerous. Jaden shrugged. Then I guess you're stuck with me, Earth's new part-time alien exterminator. Zira raised an eyebrow. You're just a security guard. Jaden grinned. Yeah, but I make one hell of a bodyguard. The Human Promise. The stars had never looked this peaceful. Jaden stood on the roof of his house, hands in his pockets, looking up. It had been 3 weeks since the mothership crumbled in orbit. 3 weeks since Zira collapsed in his arms after shutting down NUL. 3 weeks of normal, which was weird, because for Jaden Carter, normal usually involved late-night gas station burritos, not interstellar trauma. Now, the world didn't know how close it had come to ending. People talked about that weird light or the meteor thing for a few days and moved on. The sky didn't burn, the cities didn't fall, and Zira stayed off the grid. She was lying low in Jaden's basement, now upgraded with alien tech, soft lighting, and a Wi-Fi signal strong enough to cook your brain. Jaden smiled. He still kept her secret, because some stories are too big for breaking news. Downstairs, Zira sat cross-legged in front of a console made from scrap Earth electronics fused with alien parts. She was calmer now, healing, more human even. But tonight, something felt off. Jaden walked in. "You've been quiet. That usually means either deep space danger or emotional growth. Which is it?" Zira turned slowly. "The code didn't just destroy Noel," she said. "It sent a signal, something ancient." Jaden frowned. "You told me Noel was sealed, dead, gone." "It is," she replied. "But its fall was noticed." Jaden raised an eyebrow. "By who? The space version of customer service?" She looked at him, serious now. "No. By something older. Something from before our galaxies had names." Then the console beeped, loud, sharp, final. A message appeared. Not text, a symbol. A circle within a circle turning inward forever. A ripple. Zira whispered, "They've found me." The signal at first, Jaden thought it was just a frequency spike, something harmless. But the signal wasn't coming from space. It was coming from beneath them, from inside Earth. Jaden stared at the readings. "That's not possible." Zira's voice shook. It was waiting, hidden, a sleeper cell. Buried eons ago when Earth was still molten. It only needed a trigger. And Noel was the trigger. Jaden finished. The lights in the basement flickered. Zira clutched her head. "They know I'm here. They remember me." Jaden's eyes widened. "Wait, you know them?" Zira hesitated. "There was a project. Before I was born. Genetic experimentation, long-range survivalist code. My body wasn't built for beauty or strength. It was built to carry memory." She looked up. "I am a key." Jaden sat down slowly. "Okay. So we either hide the key or use it." Zira didn't answer. Instead, she whispered, "They've already started digging. The pit that night, Jaden drove them to Ridgeview Quarry, an abandoned mining zone half a mile from where Zira had first crashed. When they arrived, they saw it. A massive sinkhole, newly formed, yawning into the earth like a wound. Around it, animals lay still. Birds were gone. The stars above flickered faintly, like someone had put a thin screen between space and reality. At the edge of the hole, Zira stood perfectly still. "It's not just a machine," she said. "It's a beacon." She stepped closer, scanning with her wrist. "There's something down there. Living code, a sentient virus, part of the same network that created Null." Jaden looked into the abyss. "Then let's finish the job." They descended into the earth. Lower, darker, colder. Zira's glow lit the way like a blue torch. The stone gave way to metal, then bone, then architecture, alien design, older than anything known. Circular halls, pulsing walls. It wasn't just a base, it was a temple. "Who built this?" Jaden whispered. "No one who should have survived," Zira answered. At the bottom they found it a central chamber, a throne. On it sat a figure, vague and shifting like a person half loaded into a simulation. It spoke in Jaden's voice. "You came to us. We are pleased. Your story ends here." Jaden stepped forward. "Not today." The figure twitched. Its face distorted, shifting between Jaden, Cal, Zira, and others they didn't recognize. It was pulling from their thoughts. Zira raised the cube. "This is not your home," she said, "and I am not your host." The figure reached toward her, but Jaden stepped between them. "I've had enough of cosmic crap playing God with people's lives," he said. "You want a story? Here's one. A broken alien girl and a below-average human decided to punch back." He raised the EMP Zira had modified earlier, now charged with anti-signal plasma, and fired. Boom! The chamber shook. The figure screamed, not with sound, but with memory. Visions exploded in Jaden's mind. Galaxies burning, eyes without faces. Cities of glass shattered in silence. Zyra pushed forward, cube in hand, and pressed it into the core. Uploading counter code. Purging corrupted sequence. Legacy infection. Erased. Then, silence. The walls stopped pulsing. The throne crumbled, and the light returned. Dawn. They climbed out as morning broke over Ridgeview. Zyra collapsed onto the ground, breathing deeply. Earth air. Human air. Jaden sat beside her. "It's really over this time?" he asked. Zyra nodded. "Yes. No more constructs, no more vaults, no more hidden routes." He looked at her. "Then what now?" She smiled faintly. "Now, I choose." He blinked. "Choose what?" "To stop running, to stop surviving, to start living." 1 month later, Zyra walked freely now. Her features had softened, glowing only when she chose to. She wore human clothes, though she'd never stopped complaining about jeans. Jaden had quit his job. Together, they opened a small tech repair shop. Zyra could fix a phone just by glaring at it. Cal handled security for unusual customers. Rumor was they repaired more than just phones. They called it Second Spark, because sometimes a second chance is all it takes. The signal. That night, as Jaden and Zyra sat on the rooftop again, a small light blinked in the sky. Not red, not black. Gold. Zyra looked up. Her eyes narrowed. "What is it?" Jaden asked. She smiled. "An invitation." Jaden blinked. "From who?" Zyra stood slowly. "Someone I thought was gone. A survivor. A friend. Or maybe another key." Jaden stood beside her. "You going?" Zyra looked at him. "Only if you come too." Jaden smirked. "You crash one alien party and suddenly you're in the whole intergalactic group chat." Zyra held out her hand. "Ready to leave Earth behind?" Jaden took it. "Only if you promise we bring snacks."